Yeah, so this week, are problems an illusion of the mind? Quick answer, survey, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. You guys are an easy sell. Okay, speaking to the, was it preaching to the choir? We just already know the right answer. If she says this, the answer is always yes. Good, so let's read around. Who's able to, do you need a version of this? And do you have glasses? Yes. And you, if I gave you glasses and a page, would you read? You would try? I would love to hear your dulcet tones.
I know.
Actually, if I keep it.
Better?
Yeah, there we are.
Okay.
So from the top.
From the top, first paragraph, please. From the top.
It is impossible to have a problem when your attention is fully in the now. A situation that needs to be either dealt with or accepted, yes. Why make it into a problem? Why make it anything into a problem? Isn't life challenging enough as it is? What do you need problems for? The mind unconsciously loves problems because they give you an identity of sorts. Very true. This is normal, and it is insane. The problem means that you're not dwelling on a situation mentally without there being a true intention or possibility of taking action now, and that you are unconsciously making it past your sense of self. You become so overwhelmed by your life situation that you lose your sense of life, of being, or you are carrying in your mind the insane burden of 100 things that you will or may have to do in the future, instead of focusing your attention on the one thing that you can do now. So true.
Deb?
Well, this is really good. When you create a problem, you create pain. All it takes is a simple choice, a simple decision. No matter what happens, I will create no more pain for myself. I will create no more problems. Although it is a simple choice, it is also very radical. You won't make that choice unless you're truly fed up with suffering, unless you're truly happy. You wouldn't be able to go through it unless you access the power of the now. If you create no more pain for yourself, then you create no more pain for others. You also no longer
Contaminate.
contaminate that beautiful earth, your inner space, and the collective human psyche with the negativity of problem making.
Audrey?
If you have ever been in a life or death emergency situation, you will know that it wasn't a problem. The mind didn't have time to fool around and make it into a problem. In a true emergency, the mind stops. You become totally present in the now, and something infinitely more powerful takes over. This is why there are many reports of ordinary people suddenly becoming capable of incredibly courageous deeds. In any emergency, either you survive or you don't. Either way, it is not a problem.
Sarah?
Some people get angry when they hear me say that problems are illusions. I'm threatened to take away their sense of who they are. They've invested much time in the false sense of self. For many years, they may have unconsciously defined their whole identity in terms of their problems or their suffering. Who will they be without it?
Preston?
A great deal of what people say, think, or do is actually motivated by fear, which of course is always linked with having your focus on the future and being out of touch with the now. As there are no problems in the now, there is no fear either.
Soma, could you read the last?
Should the situation arise that you need to deal with now, your action will be clear and decisive if it arises out of present moment awareness. It is also more likely to be effective. It will not be a reaction coming from the past conditioning of your mind, but an intuitive response to the situation. in other instances when a time-bound mind would have reacted, you would find more effective to do than just stay centered in that.
Okay, as an instructor, a teacher yourself, will you read the first discussion question and offer us your thoughts?
What does he mean by make a situation into a problem? Well, I can give an example. I was in a situation trying to get here tonight. I work in Salt Lake, and I left in plenty of time. I was relaxed, comfortable. There was a wreck on I-80. And I just thought, well, I'm right here, right now, and I can't do anything about it. Instead of getting frustrated, I was a little frustrated when I got here because I was driving 80 miles an hour. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to change clothes at the studio tonight. But anyway, I just had to deep breathe and be where I was at that moment, and it was okay. A little bit.
So what does it mean to turn a situation into a problem? What does that mean?
Oh, I didn't answer the question.
No, I think you gave a wonderful example.
Yeah, because you were focusing on the future, you were looking like, but then you said, no, I'm right here, right now, this is what I'm dealing with. So I think you very
Yeah.
much answered it, because you looked.
I was just looking for other people to contribute as well. Yeah.
No, I totally think you answered it.
Yeah. What else, what do other people think about that
When
question?
you stay fully present, it is what it is. The mind is going to turn it into all kinds of things if we allow the mind to take off and go. And so that's what all of this, that's what the meditation is that your mind, that's what the mind does. If we don't control it, if we don't practice stilling the mind.
Yeah.
Also closing your heart, letting the energy get stuck. If you keep your heart open, the situation of the moment pass through you.
Lovely.
It's stuck in somehow.
That's lovely.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you don't get frustrated or start.
Yeah.
And then in the future, when something triggers that same type of situation, the energy, like, the emotions attached to that first situation, like, they re-arise. They continue to...
Becomes a habit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They continue to make you suffer.
I really like what you said because you've been in that situation where somebody comes up to talk to you and you're like, I really don't have time. Who are you? Leave me alone. But I stop and instead of looking through me, I try to look through them because they cross my path for a reason. And I really like that you said that because I'm trying to look through other people. I haven't been looking through me as much.
That's lovely. Have you guys heard the phrase, pain exists, suffering is optional? Yeah. I mean, that's in some ways what this is, yes, right? Pain happens, you will stub your toe. Then the question is, are you going to turn it into a problem or not, essentially? At least that's the way I read that. What does he mean by problems give you an identity of sorts? Mark, you had a thought on that one.
Well, the problems become sometimes so overwhelming that they're just all-consuming in your mind. There is actually just 5 or 6 problems you've got to deal with in one day, and that in itself overwhelms, I find, sometimes in senses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think of it as, I have a friend who definitely identifies like kind of the things that have happened to her in the past, and she always brings them up, and it's something she's always trying to work through, and but always falls back on that identity of, well, I'm this, or I've suffered that, I've had a lot of loss, I've blah, 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 blah. And just kind of get stuck in that.
We all have one of these friends, don't we? It's so interesting because when this came up in the other classes, everyone brings up an example. I have a friend who, right? And that friend identifies with their suffering, as in that's who they are. And without it, who would they be?
I mean, it could be anything, it's like everything.
And the
could change.
potential is enormous, but they're so stuck in their
Yeah.
world
They
of
don't have a
pain.
problem, they create one.
Yeah, yeah, right. That's the even more
Losing my
interesting thing.
identity, I've got to
Hello?
create a
Oh no, I need to find another problem. It's tough to watch.
It's kind of, yeah, it's scary for people to realize that their true identity is like the consciousness that watches all of these problems arise.
Yes, yes, yes.
So like, that's who we are, just consciousness.
You're so, if anybody would like to speak to the oldest soul in the room, she's right, she's right there.
And then it's also the thoughts create the biochemistry.
Yeah,
Is that cortisol is the most addictive drug, far more addictive than anything else. And so if that's your constant stimulus, you need to be in that state of arousal.
So you're going to
problem,
create
stress.
drama.
So
In
you
order
can
to.
be able to
To
feel that your body on
You're not feeling alive.
is craving it. Like, where is my shot of cortisol? And so it's gonna find, like,
Interesting.
what's going on? Boom. Ah, here I am.
Uh-huh.
I tend to run away from those people now that
Yeah.
I'm older. I mean, you have to set boundaries, right? And
It
so
can be,
that's-
it can affect you if you don't watch it. I agree. That's very true. Until you learn to stay so present that that doesn't impact you, then they can drag you right to their pain world. How can you stop creating problems by being in the present moment? How do we do that? What does it mean to be in the present moment and therefore avoid creating problems? Thoughts?
To me, it's a sense of stillness. When you're in the now, that expansiveness, there's a stillness, there's a calm. That's where potential lies, and if you can keep coming to that, that is our true nature.
Mm-hmm.
And we are not our problems. So when we practice like we're doing, practicing our meditation,
Mm-hmm.
we are not our thoughts. We are not our problems. And when you can keep doing that, you're not creating.
So another thought too on this is that there is a place where two things are not compatible. So a problem is something that arises in your mind when you're out here, you're saying this thing is going to, right, cause this stress, this pain, and so it's this disconnect of thinking in the future and creating a problem out of, I'm going to be late, I'm going to miss out on this, I should have had this, shoulda, coulda, wish I could stuff. Future or past.
Yeah, I was going to say that's both ways, right?
Yeah. It's not, the argument here is that it is not possible to be in the present moment and to have a problem. It's literally not possible. If you have a problem, it's because you're thinking in the future or worried about the past. Does this make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And it's mind-blowing, and it's really hard to do. So the minute you catch yourself going, I'm worrying, I'm creating, I'm time traveling, I'm not in the present moment.
What I do, because I'm very anxious, anchor. So like if I am worrying, then you're just supposed to say whatever you see. Mat,
Yes.
floor. And it just anchors you back
Because
to the
it's-
present moment. And you can't think of anything else but whatever it is.
It's a tool for bringing you to the present moment. That's wonderful. Yeah.
I have a problem sleeping at night because my mind starts working. And I'm not really worrying, it's just working.
Right.
So I shake up a snow globe in my head. I place the snow globe in my face. And the snow is my thoughts, and I watch them go.
Oh, how wonderful. That's a fabulous
And by the
visualization.
time they've settled, I'm like starting to really go to sleep, and I'm starting.
That's great. Oh my gosh. I love that.
Cool visualization.
That was cool.
You can try this 4-7-8 breathing that we're doing is another it's because it's a focused breathing technique. It's very forcing you to be in the now. If you do 4, 5, 6 of those as you're getting into bed, that can help too. Yeah.
A way to ground yourself into your body also, like when you're anxious and not in the present moment, is to think about like the blood flowing through your body,
Mm.
and like think about what it feels like what the inside of your finger feels like, or what the inside of your arms feels like. You start with your finger, then you go to your hand, you go to your arms.
Getting into the body.
Yeah, just thinking about, yeah,
Because it takes you away from your worry when you're thinking about something else.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, what a miracle it is to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your blood flow.
Yeah, I've heard a similar one. It is like put all your attention on your hands, and feel them, and then do all the same different parts of the body the same way. I think, but I love this idea of going like inside.
Because you get into like energy too.
Right, bones and blood and stuff flowing around in there. That's cool. Any other thoughts on this? So we all agree, problems are illusions.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I was thinking like this last question, right? Well, the present moment is the only time you can take action. And the reason why there's a problem is because you feel like you can't do anything about it, right? And when you're in the present moment, you can take action. And when there's something that's not right now, it's a future, quote unquote, problem, you can't do anything about it. So that's where the stress
That's right.
comes up. It's like, I need to figure this out, I need to solve this right now, but it's not happening right now. It's not, it doesn't exist because it's later. And you can't do
Tell your
anything
story
about it.
from earlier.
Oh, I like this analogy, think about this a lot, like, I'm walking down a sidewalk, and I know that there's a turn coming up, and I could go left and I could go right, and I don't know which way I'm going to go. So I'm spending the whole walk thinking, okay, well, if I go left, there could be that. And if I go right, there's this, and this. And then I get to that point, and then I realize that the left is closed, and right was the only option. So now I just ruined the last 5 minutes of my walk debating over a decision that when I got to the point where it was actually time to make the decision, there wasn't a choice. There was only one option. And I think I tell myself frequently, when my mind starts racing, I say, I don't need to make that decision right now. And it's the anxiety that I feel often of one or two, this or that. Well, if I do that, this. And then you get to the moment where it's actually time to make the decision, and then there's new information that presents itself that makes all that past thinking completely irrelevant. And you realize how dumb you were for spending all that time worrying about something that wasn't even the real scenario in the end. So that's my mantra.
I love that one.
I don't need to make that decision right now. We'll make that decision when it's time to make that
Actions
decision.
always happen now. Actions can't happen in the future. They can only happen now. Always. So, be now. If action should be taken, take action. If action shouldn't be taken, don't take action. It's a lifelong challenge.
Especially when you have kids,
Right?
because all I do is worry about my kids.
Sure. That is an interesting one. I have a friend who, her husband worries a lot about the kids, and it's kind of this running joke about how if he could, he would wrap them in bubble wrap and like never let them go out. And we've all had, if you have children, there's a certain degree to which you really want to protect them. And how do you, okay, what can I do now? What makes sense now? It's the same set of questions. And should I take them out of the bubble wrap or not? No, leave them in the bubble wrap a little longer. I don't know, right? But those are choices you make. But there's no point in worrying about it. At least that's the argument here.
Yeah.
Inhale your arms up overhead. Touch your palms, bring your hands to your heart. Every moment of every day is another chance to be right now. Right now. Right now. Your job as a human is to make the most of each moment. So, spend more time now in the present to enjoy it, rather than spending all your time in the future or past. Have a fantastic rest of your evening and weekend. If we don't see you again, namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.